What to do if your future seems to be determined by your environment? I have to go to the army because I live in Israel, but I strongly disagree with that, and I'm not sure that I will be able to express what I feel about that, and it even may not get accepted, and I may get to jail for that for a short period. Wonder what is your perspective on it? So this is a very human question. I'm not opposing that, but this is back to the relative world and the human world. Our cultures do have systems. Currently, our cultures do have systems which we most probably all of us can have a disagreement with. Yeah, I strongly disagree with armies. I strongly disagree with things that are damaging the environment. I strongly disagree with the torturing of animals through the current meat industry. And dairy industry. Dag, dag, dag. Can you see my jumper today? Be kind to every kind. Be kind to every kind. So we all live in these systems, but I buy into this system. So, you know, when I was younger, I used to think that I could go off and live on a beach somewhere and not be part of society. And it's not really that possible. You maybe could go to America and live in the forest somewhere, but in Europe, there's not really much natural forest. Like some hikers would come across you all the time. Whereas in America or in New Zealand or in these other countries or in Australia, you might be able to live out of nature. We're currently in this transition. And I assume that you can't get a passport for somewhere else, so you have to go to the army. And I mean, is jail going to help? If I were you, if I was in your situation, I would protest to a point. I would protest and I'd make it clear, but then I would just conform and do it. But as long as I could pick a job that was of benefit to me and to people in my environment, like so obviously I wouldn't choose weapons. I don't know what it is that you have to do, but I would choose a job that was most peaceful it could possibly be. You're not going to get out of your society. The problem is once you've gone to jail, it's most probably going to affect, if that's the country you've got to stay in, it's most probably going to affect your career, your education. And I'm not pro all that, but I would use it as a positive. Like, try to think of ways in which it can help make you expand. If that's the situation, then I wouldn't shoot yourself in the foot before you begin, because anything is possible, and maybe you could protest and that will be really beautiful and it'll work and something really beautiful will come out of that. But you could also protest by doing it and then just having a different energy as well. I say this because I presume you're young if you've got to go into the army in Israel, and if that's the culture you've got to be in for the rest of your life, then I wouldn't make your life really difficult. You can get out of the system for being mentally ill. Okay, so if you think that will work for you, and if that's true, but I wouldn't do it off a lie if it's not true. Because otherwise, if you lie, then if you're not mentally ill, then you're escaping it by a lie, which isn't, I'm anxious, yes, okay. So maybe you can get out of it. But yeah, so many things that I disagree with in my society, and I as a young person, I thought I could escape it. And you can't really escape the society you're born into. You've got to make the best of it. I sound like my parents. So my parents used to say to me, and my rebelliousness like brought me to many exciting adventures. But there comes a point when you realize that we're at this current place in evolution on the human world, and the best thing that you can do as a revolution to change the society is to love, and is to glow your heart from love. And that's actually the best thing you can do over political activism or acting out of hate. When I was younger, I worked in the West Bank. I went to Israel. I think I was banned from Israel for a while. I got caught in the West Bank. It was in like 2002 when there was quite a lot of like rebellion. I think there's a rebellion every few years in Israel, but there was quite a big rebellion then. I was a Buddhist at the time, and I practiced Buddhism, and I went with a Buddhist organization, and it was like, instead of being war, like meditate. Like, so instead of like having anger and hate towards each other, like meditate. And then also we were going to help kids cross the road in like really aggressive situations so they could go to school, because sometimes they couldn't go to school because there was so much military action, and etc. Doing different things, but you weren't allowed as a Westerner, I don't think, in Israel at that time, so we had to be smuggled in. We got smuggled in through Bethlehem, and we got caught, and it was so scary. But I did get in for a month, and we got caught again. But the first time they caught us, they let us go. They were happy, and they let us go. The second time, I think I got banned from Israel, but maybe on a new passport I would be able to go. I don't normally tell people that are Israeli this, actually, not because of lying, but because I know it's so politically charged. And my God, that really knocked political activism out of me. So I was like 22, and that month, I think it traumatized the hell out of me. And I stopped being political after that. A little bit, but I saw it was absolutely hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. The people that I was with that were campaigning for peace, to me, had just as much hate, maybe more, than the other side. Like, to campaign for peace and to go to that place, it has to be very motivated, and I found out they were motivated by hate. And that was really shocking for me. And most probably I had a motivation of hate as well. But I realized it, I saw it. And I saw it on both sides. I saw that just giving the Palestinian people power wasn't the answer. Giving the Israeli people power wasn't the answer. I just saw such hate on both sides. And yeah. And I left there, and I did think that was it. I think I did no more activism after that. Yeah. The most political thing that you could do in this world is love. It's like absolute rebellion, is work out what love is and love. There are ways people try to get out of Israel before army to live in other countries and never come back, but it's a risk. If you come back, you will instantly get arrested. Yeah. It used to be in most countries that you had to go into the army. Like, I don't agree with it, but what is it that you have to do? Like, can you get away with working on a commune or working in the office?